Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, your host, IFL and Talking Balls. Glad to be here with you again. First things first, excuse me if my voice sounds a little bit strained. Late night last night, watching England, Norway. Really good game to be fair. Cheering on a lot of noise, drinks and stuff. So really late night and all that shouting and everything. My voice box may be a bit iffy today, but I'm gonna power through this episode, which I'm just gonna be I'll be looking at the round of 16 and quarterfinals. I think the last time I did an episode on World Cup on this podcast, we looked at group stage stuff and looked ahead. So this time around, we're just gonna look at the round of 16 quarterfinals and then just a quick preview of the semi-final. But before I do, as always, guys, give us a like and a follow here on Spotify, or if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'll include the links in show notes as always. Always, again, always. I want to hear your comment. If you got comments, if you got something to say, make a comment. If you want to get in touch directly with me, the email to do so is daretoyan@gmail.com. That's DARETOYAN@gmail.com. I'll leave that in the show notes as well. So I'll kick it off with the first, I think it was the first round of 16 game, which was a France Paraguay one, which anyone who watched it or who's heard about it or who's followed the World Cup probably knows this about the football game that wasn't about football. I mean, I'm really happy France won. I know it's a weird thing to say as an Englishman, but really, apart from about three Paraguayan outfielders, the rest of them were just there to try intimidating, injure French players and just play and do all loads of nonsense. Really, it got to the point where some of the Paraguayan players on the ball were actually looking to just hold it and wait for a tackle to come in so they could do something stupid rather than actually trying to go forward and score. They clearly got to a point where they weren't interested in winning the game. I mean, I know some people back home would have seen them as like the heroes and whatever, but all in all, it was a disgrace, not just to themselves, but to the name football, but to the sport of football. And I'm so happy France held their heads high and just laughed it off and won that game. And honestly, it was the most inept, the most spineless, and the most downright tragic refereeing display I've ever seen. I'm not gonna give the guy's name just because I don't think he deserves to have his name mentioned. I just don't want to give him any attention at all because he just doesn't deserve it. I don't know what was wrong with him that day, but he should never be allowed in professional football again, like to referee in professional football again. I don't think that's out of reach because the point of a referee is to control a game. And in a game where opposition is clearly looking to intimidate, clearly looking to injure, because there were some tackles that, realistically speaking, could have gotten yellows or reds with other referees. So the fact Paraguay escaped with not a single person in the squad, the fact they escaped with one booking, which came after after full time and was given to an assistant coach and nothing else, is objectionable in the very least. So I don't want to devote any more attention to these guys. Really, utterly disgraceful stuff from the entire Paraguayan team. Coach coming out as well to talk nonsense. The referee was shameless, man, shameless. Um, I want to say some things, but I'm going to try and stay professional. I'm going to move on. Next up was Canada Morocco. I watched that game, and to be fair, Canada did make a good showing up in first half, although they didn't take their chances. And as we saw in second half, that's what we saw. What Morocco did in second half is exactly what happens when you don't take your chances against a bigger team. Because second half Morocco, first half they went on it, but second half they came out and they absolutely battered and dismantled Canada. I mean, 3-0. It sounds harsh, but 3-0 doesn't do Morocco justice in that second half because it could have been 4 or 5. Like they really ripped them apart going forward. They found loopholes that they had missed out on in the first half, and they were just it looked like men versus boys at times. Portugal, Spain. This is the thing with Spanish games, I find, especially in recent times compared to prime Spain of like 2000, the late 2000s, early 2010s. This Spain team, they pass a lot, they probe a lot, but they don't create a lot. And sometimes it can be quite one dimensional. The games can be quite boring. That's exactly what it was Spain versus Portugal. And you'd think Portugal, with all the talent, would give it more of a go, but they just didn't seem that interested in doing so. I don't know what the issue was, but they seemed quite content sitting back. There were numerous chances where they could have broken forward, they could have created something, caused havoc, and they just slowed down and took their time, and then eventually gave the ball back to Spain. And it was just that cycle all over again until later on when Mikel Merino came on, super sub, moments of magic, moments of genius, really. 1-0, won the game. Even going after that, Portugal was still quite slow getting the ball up top, putting it in the box. They were just really labored with it. Side note though to this game, it's the last we're gonna see of Ronaldo at World Cup. He's already confirmed it, and to be honest, at 40, 41, it's just not gonna happen. Uh, and I'll be brutally honest, man. He scored 3 goals, one penalty against Croatia, two against Uzbekistan. Debutantes. He didn't look like a top quality striker in any way, shape, or form. In fact, like you think about the players around him: Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Rafael, Conceição, João Felix, Pedro Neto, Bernardo Silva, and the fact that he scored one penalty, he created one chance in the entire competition, one half chance, really, just one, and that came after his 18th shot in the competition or something like that. Tells you the guy, like, he's done. Like, he very much is that goal obsessed guy, which everyone wants to laud and prove. And yeah, it's great. It's nice to be single minded sometimes. But when you're doing it to the point where it's now a detriment to your team, it's no longer great. It's no longer greatness. It's just selfishness. And I think it's clear, even in Spain game, when I say loads of attacks were going slow, they'll go back. There were quite a few of them which ended because of Cristiano. Like, he gets the ball, there's a player out in space on the wing, and he wants to do a few step overs, he wants to do some jinks here and there, and he just delays and lets Spain get back in position, defensive positions, and then that's it. Even when he drops deep, it's when you watch Messi drop deep, he's dropping deep. He's playing 1-2s. He's moving the ball up the pitch. He's driving the team forward when he does that. Ronaldo drops off pitch. He wants to touch the ball. He does a trick. He wants to try a flick here. Wants to do something interesting, and then he just walks. And once he's done that, he walks. He doesn't really get long. It's not really. It's more dropping in to touch the ball and get his name and get himself shown on screens or something, and not really I'm going to drop to draw someone out, or I'm going to drop and play and push this team, drive the team forward. It was really weird watching him do that, and it's one of those where it just looked he just looked so conceited. It looked like it was the Ronaldo show rather than Portugal, and yeah, it's clear, right? He's got 10, 11 goals in 6 World Cups. Messi's got 20, 21 goals and 8 assists or something in the same time frame. Ronaldo's got 10 goals and like 3 assists. It tells you everything you need to know, really. I'll leave it at that, though. What's interesting for Portugal now as well is Roberto Martinez is gone. They brought in Jorge Jesus, who just won out the Saudi League with Al Nassr and Ronaldo. So another one where it seems like they're more interested in appeasing Ronaldo than doing what's best for the team. Interesting. But also because likes of Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, João Cancelo, Nelson Semedo, all mainstays for a long time now. Some of them were in the squad when Portugal won Euros in 2016. They're all over 30. So this is they're almost kind of phasing out of their own golden generation, if I may. On to the next one, US Belgium. The only thing I can do is laugh because USA, of course, with Trump and all his nonsense, calling Infantino to overturn Balogun record, FIFA giving in to the obstruct, the corruption and intrusion. Oh, so they could lose 4-1 to Belgium is absolutely hilarious. I so love that. And in fact, I don't know what possessed them, but the fact they thought they had a genuine chance of winning the World Cup. I mean, I'm pretty sure betting odds had them as like eighth favorites or something at some point. And anyone who really knows football watches them. Yeah, they've got good players. Yeah, they played well, and yeah, they're at home, but they weren't even the best host country of the three of them. I'll take Mexico over them. Like, so you know what? Thank you, Belgium. We don't have to deal with them anymore and the nonsense in football and soccer. So we'll move on from that. Brazil, Norway. I didn't really watch this, but I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what I was doing, but I couldn't. I just missed the game. I mean, I thought Brazil would win it, really, but Haaland did what he needed to do. The big issue, I'm gonna say this. I said it in the first episode. I'm saying it again. Why is Neymar in this Brazil? Why was Neymar in this squad? Why was he in the World Cup squad? He's been injured. He's clearly not fit. He could barely move when he came on. He looks out of shape. He's not played at top level for so long. Why was he there? More importantly, Brazil needed central midfielders, other central midfielders, and fullbacks. Fine, Wesley got injured. De Bruyne Ederson as a central midfielder. Great, okay. Play him. Play him, Don Carlo Ancelotti. Play him. He's good enough. Why won't you give him a chance? He plays Champions League and Serie A football for Atlanta, but somehow Neymar in Brazilian division with Santos while spending most of the season injured is good enough? Really? I mean, fullback as well. If you take Neymar out of that, you could replace him with a fullback. Van der Sar Monaco, really good player. He could have done a great job. Danilo 34, he played pretty much every minute of the World Cup for them. Why does he need to? Both Norway goals came from Danilo's side, the right side of Brazil's defense. Why couldn't Van der Sar have been there? Who says Van der Sar couldn't have done a better job defensively? We'll never know because Neymar had to be in the squad, right? So I just, and fine. If you insist on bringing in another attacker, why Neymar? Joao Pedro scored 15 Premier League goals last season, had a career high season. He's coming off season when he was Chelsea's best. He won Chelsea's Player of the Season. He's been brilliant. Why not bring him in? He's also versatile. You can stick him up top. You can stick him out on the left. And the issue as well, bringing Neymar on, like we saw both the what game was it I watched earlier? It was the Scotland game. We saw it again in this game against Norway. Bringing Neymar on means Neymar must play centrally, and because he doesn't have the athleticism anymore, you can't put him out wide either. Which means you have to push Endrick and Vinicius, your most informed attackers, and probably also the two attackers most likely to create magic for you, pushing them out wide, further away from goal where they would deal the most damage. So all in all, it was just really, really, really baffling, really annoying as well. I'm not even a Brazil fan, so I don't know how they'll feel. And after all of that nonsense, with a job that's under so much scrutiny, I have to say, Carlo Ancelotti is lucky that no Brazil have decided to keep him on. The CBF have decided to keep him on to the next World Cup because most other managers after this they would have been cut out straight away. But I cannot. I also have to give it to Norway because they bust the midfield in that game. They were defensively solid. Granted, Bruno Guimaraes missed the first half penalty, but fine. They were defensively solid. And of course, Haaland did what Haaland does best, which is score goals, especially big ones. Which, by the way, as an example to Ronaldo, a striker that maybe isn't the best on the ball, maybe isn't going to drop deep and help build up play, but still finds a way to contribute. That's how it's done. I didn't watch the England Mexico game because that I'm not staying up to 4 a.m. on the school night. Same goes for Switzerland, Colombia. The last round of 16 game I watched Argentina, Egypt. This one was weird. Yeah. I mean, Egypt looked good value. I mean, they scored 3 goals without reply. One was rightfully cancelled for a foul on Lisandro Martinez. I know people will try and complain about it and say maybe not same phase or it was soft, but he was stepped on. I mean, he went down dramatically, but he was stepped on. It was a foul, and it was same phase of play because they won from that tackle. They won the ball and counter-attacked and scored. I think it was within 15 seconds. Yeah, in my 15 seconds sounds like a long time, but it came from that tackle. That attack is from that tackle, and it was the same attack. So it was rightfully disallowed. That being said, I know they made a lot of comments after the game about referees favoring Argentina, and there have been instances of that. The Algeria game to start off this World Cup for Argentina, Messi could and probably should have been sent off. I agree. Even Argentina Netherlands semi-final 2022 World Cup, Argentina should have had at least 1 or 2 red cards during the game. In fact, in the first 90 minutes before extra time, agreed. But on this one, I think their frustrations are misdirected because realistically speaking, they were terrible defensively in the last 15 minutes of that game. I mean, all 3 goals Argentina scored. The first one had at Cristiano Romero wide open free in the box. I mean, there was a defender with him before the cross came in, and then he just let him go for the winner. For the first goal, he just let him go, just left him alone. Second one, it's the stereotypical the ball comes in and you get sucked into your 6 yard box because a cross is coming, everyone's there to defend. And so the gap between 6 yard box, the 6 yard box and the 18 yard box, so around the penalty spot, was left wide open. Ball drops there, Messi on the volley or half volley gets it in 2-2. And then the third one really annoyed me. Well, the Salah incident first off, not penalty. Never in a million years. If you have that given against you, you are gonna be fuming about that because it would have been extremely soft. And if you had that given in your favor, you would have been you would accept it, but you'd be covering your eyes because you know as a football fan it wasn't a penalty. But ignoring that, Edge Argentina broke from there. It looks like a 2-on-3. It was two. It was Lautaro on the right and Enzo in the middle with no, it should have been 3 Egyptian defenders, but the Egyptian defender on the left, if I remember it correctly, he for some reason decided to run across the field to try and cut out the pass that was obviously to anyone watching that was very obviously going to be going to Lautaro out on the right. So the ball was on the left for Argentina. And this guy wanted to run crossfield to cut out a pass that just instead of staying with Lautaro and leaving a free man to either double up on Lautaro on the right or double up on Ento Fernandez in the middle, he just completely left his teammates exposed. Ball goes out to Lautaro Martinez about halfway line. He jogs about 20 yards with the ball. He jogs. He doesn't run. And for some reason, the Egyptian defender on him, I don't know his name, decides, I'm not going to close this guy down. I'm going to let him jog. He is the top scorer from Syria this past season. He's a dangerous striker. He's a world-class striker. But I'm not going to close him down. And he delivers an absolute peach of a cross into the box. People might say, well, it may be Enzo, first off, absolutely incredible header. But it was created by Lautaro's cross because Lautaro's cross he put it in a place that the keeper couldn't come out for it. Defender on marking Enzo Fernandez couldn't challenge for it. There was nothing either of those guys could do. It was only Enzo Fernandez who could win that header, and that's how good the cross was. And they won. Yeah, some people might say they might have been lucky to win, but they won. And Egypt really only have themselves to blame for that because if you're 2-0 up in any game with less than 15 minutes to go and you lose 3-2, and the game doesn't go to extra time either, you just lose 3-2, you you shouldn't talk. You should just go home, cover your heads, and be ashamed that you've let that go. Especially against the reigning champions, it would have been such a big victory for them, such a moral boosting win. It would have been so great to see them do that, but they messed it up. Quarterfinal fixtures again. Start with the first one, France Morocco. That gosh, a lot of France games came first. I was out for that one. At an event and I was talking to people, but the game was on, so I kind of had my eye on it partially. All I remember really, it was a ruthlessly professional display from France. 2-0, bing bang boom, quick success. I mean, Mbappe missed a penalty in first half, but then second half, in 6, 7 minutes, they scored twice. He and Dembele just sealed the game. Deschamps rotated, took Mbappe off. I think he took Dembele off as well, gave them a break. Nice and easy. Just took care of business. Didn't do much else. Didn't concede. Didn't get any silly foul, any silly cards or bookings. Nothing. Just preserve the squad. Everything's clear. They're into the semi-finals. Nice and easy. Belgium, Spain. Like I said, sometimes with Spain, these games can be a bit long because they do a lot of passing, probing, but not a lot of penetration. Um, pause. But again, 1-1. Fair play to Belgium because Belgium actually showed more intent and quality than Portugal did, even though the squad isn't as good and doesn't have the same quality. Also, isn't as robust as well because they lost some starters, they lost some depth, squad depth. Chileman's injured, Onana injured. Um, they've got a few more injuries. I can't remember who. I think Van Aken as well. But they kept going, they kept chugging away. They scored they scored what was the first goal Spain have conceded all tournament or throughout this World Cup. That is, we are this is what 5 games in, so it's quite impressive because they actually tried going at Spain. They went at, and they actually had other chances. I mean, Salamanca's late on. I don't know if he could have shot when the post was empty. Maybe he thought he was too wide, but either way, they had chances. They did look at threats to Spain. That's what happens when you give things a go, when you try rather than just sitting back and being passive. But against Spain, as always, just found a way. Mikel Merino, super sub, and I'm quite sad about it really, because Spain only scored that goal because Sene Lammens made an error. I yeah, he made an error. You have to blame him, but at the same time, I think there's some mitigation to that, and that's been we even saw it last night, England versus Norway, when Neyland pushed the ball. There seems to be an issue with keepers on this football, especially when it's long range shots. Like the movement of the ball catches them off a bit. You saw that with Pickford against Mexico. Saw that Neyland last night. Saw that with Lamens. Saw that with Courtois on the first Spain goal as well. We saw that several times Argentina, Algeria. We've seen that with other goalkeepers throughout this competition. The long shots seem to have a weird effect on them. Like the ball, I think I was reading or watching something Joe Hart was speaking about, and he says he's examined the ball and the way it's hit, it comes to you a lot faster than it looks. So it seems like keepers aren't as used to it. And of course, Lamens hadn't played our competition, so him coming in an emergency for Courtois, it would have been a lot for him to just deal with. I think that was the first shot he faced as well. So it would have been like a shock to him, to his system. That being said, he did look slow after making save, getting back up to sit again. But yeah, Marinos, another super sub goal, another super sub winner. He did that against Germany in Euro 2024 as well in like quarterfinals. So that clearly is he's becoming really good at this thing. Um, but Spain haven't hit top gear yet. I don't think they've hit top gear throughout this World Cup. So I'm hoping Tuesday semi-final against France they actually show up, because if they can do that, if they hit top gear, this might be one of the all-time great football matches at a World Cup. Like genuinely, it might be. There will. I'm hoping for fireworks. I'm really hoping for it because it could be a game. England. Sorry, I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna go Argentina, Switzerland first. Through to the semis against England. Good for them. I mean, it was last night or this morning rather. I think it started like 2 a.m. After the England game and everything, like I said about my voice, I didn't have the energy to watch this, but I saw it. They went through, did what they needed to do. Again, the defense looks suspect. Needed extra time. Messi's been playing a lot of minutes. Is that gonna happen? Is that gonna come back to bite them in the semi-final? Who knows? Mbolo, I read the Switzerland manager's comments about the Mbolo red card, saying he didn't deserve to have his second yellow for that. He should have let the game continue. Well, sir, I have to point out to you, there's a reason players are giving yellows for diving, and that's because it's cheating, and we don't want that in the game. So he did deserve that yellow card. He did. Unfortunately, it was his second yellow. He did deserve to be sent off. Don't complain about it. If you have a problem, talk to Mbola for doing that because it was blatant as hell. I watched the highlights. It wasn't even one of those where there's a little touch and he goes flail. He went flailing before there was no touch. He went flailing and there was no tackle attempt made. So he deserved what happened to him. And again, if you think he didn't deserve a yellow, Paredes, the reason VAR looks at it is because Paredes was booked for that foul. I didn't hear you. I didn't see you complaining about Paredes being booked there. So why is there suddenly an issue that Embolo gets booked for getting Paredes for trying to get Paredes booked? So I'm not going to go into any more detail about that. It was just a stupid display. Really, Switzerland, unfortunately, like I said, they always make a reasonably deep run. Made it to the quarterfinals this time round. Always a tricky opponent. You can always trip over them, and unfortunately, they went out. I mean, it was extra. It was extra time they went out to. Like Mbolo got sent off a few minutes after they scored, and they played last 20 minutes of the game with 10 men. Extra time with 10 men. It was it was it was going against them at that point, unfortunately, because of that. But they made a good train of themselves this World Cup. I think they were quite good. They were an interesting watch. I liked watching them. On to England, Norway, which is a big one. Uh, Sorry, I don't know what's happening. My screen looks to be slowing down or something. We're recording. It looks weird, but I'll deal with that later. Hopefully, it doesn't like affect things too much. England, Norway. That was a big hurdle to head last night, honestly, because England were not at their best. Like Norway had the chances to put us away and scored two or three really in 90 minutes. I mean, thank goodness for Alexander Soloff because if it was Oscar Bob or someone, they make that pass to Haaland first time. Haaland probably makes it 2-0 Norway. England may not come back. But us, Soloff, hesitance, delaying, blah, 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 worked out in our favor. So I'm happy for that. And of course, we got that man Jude, that big man Jude. I think right now he's without doubt like one of the best big game players in the world football. And last night was really good. I mean, he showed it again. He first one was really well taken finish actually. Like took the ball in, kept running on his left foot, played it past Ireland. Good, good Ireland. Maybe I'll go down quicker. I don't know, but I'm taking it. Bellingham scored on stroke of halftime as well, winning 1-1. And start of extra time, 93 minutes or so. I mean, brilliant poacher's goal, like stereotypical poacher's goal. Morgan Rogers takes a shot from 25 yards. Nyland spills it. Bellingham's quicker than his defender, gets to it, blasts it past Nyland. We're 2-1 up. The big man's done it again. And of course, there were other incidents throughout the game where he's dragging the team up. He's dribbling, he's winning fouls, he's taking the pressure off us. So, King Jude, I mean, look, even if we don't win this World Cup, even if we go out in semi-finals, I think he should be given an MB or CB or OB or whichever of the BEs. Um, yeah. Uh, Honestly, I also think like speaking of Jude, like if he was around, can you imagine if he was around in the 8th to 11th centuries? England probably could have held off the Viking invasion because this guy seems incredibly good at it. And that's what he did last night. So, yeah, I'm actually quite happy for that. Speak now, following off of that, we've got Argentina in the semi-finals. Who goes through? This is weirdly enough Messi's first time playing against England, which I didn't realize. That's quite incredible considering he's played what 200 plus games now for Argentina. But hey, who knows? He's in top form. Jude's in top form. This is a rivalry that's been going on for ages. I mean, think Diego Maradona, the hand of God, and then that incredible goal in 1986. Think David Beckham versus Diego Simeone in 1998. Could this be another chapter in what is a fierce country rivalry? I mean, I'm not even going to, like, we could even talk about the political side with the Falkland Wars in the 80s. So much history here. And at the end of it, though, England's defense doesn't look great. So I think Argentina do score. But I think Argentina's defense has been worse. And I think if Kane can step up, even if he doesn't step up, Bellingham, Saka starts, Gordon starts. I think England score a few against the Argentina defense. It's really weak, especially on the counter like we saw against Egypt. Midfield, midfield for them is going to be rough. I think England's physical between Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham. I think England have the physicality required to really rumble Argentina's midfield. And if this guy, sorry, Thomas Tuchel plays like Saka and Gordon, or if he plays, sorry, if he decides to play like Gordon and Morgan Rogers or Saka and Eze or something, some combination thereof that gives us an extra body in midfield, I think we could really batter Argentina here. Um, I'm not saying we will, but I think we win that 3-1. I think it's going to be like a tight game. We go 2-1 up, and then in the last 5-10 minutes of game, including adding time and dying embers, when Argentina are desperate, they're really pushing everyone forward. I think we score a counter attack, make it 3-1, seal the game. That's it from there. We go into the World Cup final for the first time since 1966, if I'm not mistaken. The other semi-final, France, Spain, could be a generational matchup. I mean, we've got top quality players on both sides of the start on both starting 11, both sub benches. It's gonna be incredible. I genuinely think, like I've already said, I think this might be the best game of this World Cup and could quite possibly be one of the greatest World Cup games of all time if both teams step up. I think the best team to really trouble Spain defensively was Belgium in the quarterfinals. And I think I'm expecting France to be exponentially better. I think France could follow the same playbook of pressing high and using the pace and dribbling ability to trouble them. And I think France have the perfect guys for that. I mean, between Mbappe, Dembele, Doué, Olise, Bacola, they really, really could give Spain a lot of trouble. But then again, the issue with playing Spain is your defenders, your midfielders, concentration needs to be at a max on 19 plus minutes long. You can't give them a chance because they will. That's why they play the way they do. They pass, they pro constantly. Any error and they'll and they're in. Like we saw against Belgium, saw it against Portugal. We've seen it numerous times over the years. And my issue with that is Upamecano. He's got a tendency to be overly casual sometimes, and then he switches from overly casual to rash. And I think that could be a problem with him because if you do that against Spain, they'll punish you. And with Oyarzabal's movement as well, incredible movement. Lamine Yamal, Alex Baina running all over the place from out left. Lamine Yamal taking on people on the right. It could be a serious issue, especially if Spain hit top gear, attacking wise anyway, in this game. Either way, hate to say this, but I think the actual World Cup, the World Cup winner will come from this matchup. I think it probably comes from this matchup. That being said, I think France take it by one goal, either 2-1 or 3-2. Might be 4-3. Hoping for 5-4. That would be really great for all of us football fans. So let's see. As always, guys, just let me know your thoughts. Who do you think wins these two matchups, and then who do you think wins overall? I'm gonna try and include a poll in on the sorry. I'm going to try and include a poll, Spotify and YouTube. Let me know your thoughts. The email is in the show notes. Once again, thank you all for listening. Have a great time, and I'll speak to you next time.